Hello, and welcome back to the M2 Podcast. I'm your host, MadMikeWillEatU. My co-host right here is KyleHeath. This is the show where we cover basically last week's gaming industry-related news, where we jump into a couple of different topics. This week, we're going to be talking a little bit about the day before devs, their return, kind of like Kickstarter campaign that they got going on. We got two new updates about Nintendo. One is about them reportedly shutting down Ryujinx, which is an emulator. For Nintendo, that's kind of a big deal. They also came out with a new museum that they opened up in Japan, which is pretty sick. There is also an update of Hi-Rez Studios. They cut an unspecified number of jobs. So continuing on with the trend that's been going on in the industry. And then also at the very end of everything, it's about Krafton's acquisition of Tango Gameworks, which we've covered a couple of times. And just remind people that involves Hi-Fi Rush. So worth checking out at the end of the episode. But before we get into it, Kyle, how you been, man? How you doing? You look good. Dude, you basically have like a Letterman vest like thing going on with like the collars.
The cardigan with like a gray shirt. I look like I'm
into it. I'm into it. It's a good style.
Yeah,
big fan.
Yeah, dude, thanks. So this week, I think I played mainly two games. I was really between Dead Island 2. Because I planned on Game Pass, still made a bunch of progress. I think I'm like a little over halfway at this point, so hoping to finish that soon, maybe even this week. So playing that, played some more First Descendant as well. That was pretty fun. Just playing some more kind of looter shooter stuff there. I've been thinking
playing those two for a while now. Actually,
yeah, it's been kind of the mainstays really lately. But yeah, dude, we got some games coming up. Got a little Silent Hill 2 coming out next Tuesday.
Yeah, we do.
I'm hoping to get a couple hours in before the next pod. I definitely want to check the game out. I think reviews drop Friday, so it's like really close to the release. So I definitely want to see what people have to say when that embargo lifts. So the day this pod is up is when that'll drop. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that. If it's not like super atrocious, I don't think it's gonna be bad. But you know, unless for some reason it's like really bad, I do plan on getting that game. So I want to try and play a little bit of that. Yeah, dude, I'm excited. It's one of those things like it's kind of that, you know, I played the first Silent Hill and I don't know, I really enjoyed it. And I think I played a little bit of 2, but I never finished it, the original. So I'm like, hey, remake I think is a good opportunity to jump in and, you know, try the game out. So yeah, dude, I'm gonna take advantage of that for sure. So I'll be playing some of that. But yeah, hopefully playing that. There's a number of people in my life that have actually been like super in on Baldur's Gate. So I've been thinking about picking up Baldur's Gate 3, maybe trying that out.
I think it's like, worth.
Dude, it's D&D, and I love D&D, so I'm just like, I think it's worth it. I don't know. From what
there's so many people I know that are like super big into D&D, and they have like whole communities that they work together and play like once every week or sometimes like once a month. Just like it's a thing just to get together. It's very cool, and if you're into D&D, I think everybody says you have to play Baldur's Gate.
That's what I've been hearing, dude, and especially with the modding and everything on PC, it's like seems like a no-brainer. So,
for sure.
Something I'm probably gonna check out at some point too. I don't know if it'll be this week, but certainly in the future, I think.
Very cool.
But yeah, dude. I mean, other than that, you know, you got some sports going on, you know, ramping stuff up. Got
I've been watching a lot of sports too.
So, you know,
soccer as well.
Yeah, soccer
and hockey. Hockey starts tomorrow, I think.
Hockey, basketball right around the corner. Both of those.
Yeah. The season start. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Sports are real right now.
Yeah, so it's about to be that fall. That nice like October, November, and not only mention that, like playoff baseball is a thing. It's the only time I really check out baseball is when it's like playoffs. So I don't know. We're in that October, November months where it's just like a lot of sports. So
it's very cool. I'm big into that too. That's basically what I've been spending all my time doing is like watching sports.
Yeah.
I've been playing a little bit of Halo 2. I've been playing a little bit of Rocket League, trying to jump in there every once in a while. But man, like I had a realization. I was like, I'm not really playing any variety of games anymore. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I cleaned up the entire house. I've like cleaned up this room. This room used to be like such a mess. I know people that like are watching on video, you couldn't really tell, but like behind me was chaos, and like underneath, like I had controllers. Like I used like 3 or 4 different controllers for different games, and it's like there's controllers everywhere. And I organized everything, got my stuff together. I was feeling pretty good about it, and Also got a secondary Switch dock. It's technically my third Switch dock, Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
So one in here for streaming, one in the living room for gaming, and then one in the bedroom for like chilling. And like
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I got the one in the bedroom, and it's like, dang, I need to start playing some Mario Party 8. Is it 8? No, Mario Party Superstars, I think is what the name is, or All Stars, or something like that. One of the ones that like combines all the different ones together. And also Mario. I don't have Mario Kart 8, surprisingly. So that's my next like video game purchase for sure. And
I gotta get on that.
Yeah, your Game Pass is inspiring to me.
Yeah, dude,
I saw you. I saw the Discord status. You're over here like Xbox Game Pass playing. What did you just say it was? It wasn't Silent Hill.
So yeah,
was
Dead Island 2.
Dead Island. That's right. Yeah, I saw you playing that, dude. And I was like,
and like, it's funny. I didn't even mention it, but like, it was the first time in a while too. I was utilizing XCloud to play, and so
cool.
I was playing on the console, and I was like, and I there was one point I think it was like, I don't know, some reason I was like in my room like playing. I think someone else was using the TV, so I was like, I'll just go in my room and play. But I was like, I really want to play Dead Island 2, but like obviously I don't have the console because someone else is using it. So I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, let me check something. So I go on Game Pass, and sure enough, there is a cloud streaming option for Dead Island 2. Nice. And so I literally press play, it loads me in like 30 seconds, and I'm right where I left off.
Very cool.
So it's like stuff like that's so cool. Like and it's nice on my PC because it's hardwired to my router, so there's like little latency. There's a little latency, but it's not. It was good enough where I played for hours and barely noticed. So it's just like, yeah, it was nice just to have that freedom. I'm just like, all right, I'll just go on my PC and I can fire up the game and hook up a controller. And
that's so sick.
I'm like, this is what cloud gaming I think is like. This is where it's at its best. I think it's like, oh, you can just hop on another device at your house and just play. So.
Oh yeah. I think that's fair. Yeah. That's like as long as you have the internet, the capability, the infrastructure, really, that's the way to go. You know, speaking of infrastructure, and I sent it to you. Did you get a chance to check it out? It's this website that I found that basically marks all the ISP like actual hard lines of the like the physical internet.
And I saw the pictures. Dude, I didn't click on my link.
It's madness, and I'm starting to understand why my internet in particular is especially bad when comparing my friends that live in my area. It's not just my ISP. It's like we are definitely on different lines of the internet. Where it's like, it's like I click on because like they're all networked together based upon like proprietary information. Kind of like think about it this way. A very simple way is like the freight lines where you have like CSX that kind of controls like the East Coast and like certain cities. And then you have Norfolk Southern that's a little bit further. You have BSNF, which is mostly like the West Coast, controls all their lines. It's kind of like that in terms of ISP in the US. So I was like checking things out. I'm just like, oh crap, man. Like, this is nuts. Like, I just happen to live in this one part of a town that the nearest connection that I have is one of the worst routing that I could possibly have to get to like certain servers that I play on. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like starting to make sense.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I don't know. As like a background in engineering, I was nerding out because it's like the monumental feat of like getting the cable. Like you even mentioned it in the chat, right? Like getting the physical cable lines going from one side of the Atlantic to the other. Yeah. Like a lot of people don't realize it's like there's a physical line.
Yeah, there are physical lines. Yeah.
Like it's madness. It's like, not going to a satellite and come back down.
Dude, yeah. I think some people like we were talking about, like some people literally just cannot comprehend. It sounds almost cartoonish that there's literally physical lines in the ocean, but it's true. And it's part of the reason.
There definitely is.
It's part of the reason why those lines, why there's such a delay sometimes between the US to other parts of the world, because it literally has to travel across the line. So it's like it takes time. It's not like an instant thing. So I mean, obviously with technology,
absolutely not.
Technology is improving. Infrastructure in the United States is improving. There's like, universities and stuff that are like coming up with like 10 gigabits per second. Like,
right.
It's just insane now.
Different materials that were used. Some of the lines that are like underneath the ocean are like 100 years old.
Yeah. And it's
they started using them in World War I to make like whenever the heck the stupid Morse code came out.
Yeah, like, telegram and all it is.
But yeah, it's like how long does that take to deteriorate, because the ocean is very corrosive. Salt water's no joke. You got animals chewing on stuff. Who knows?
It's a wild thing. Yeah, it amazes me how it all works, but it's true, man. people out there don't believe it, but you got to get an internet across the world somehow. So
I don't think they don't believe it. I think they're just ignorant. Like nobody ever thought. It's just something that's always been there for them, especially people under the age of like 30, probably.
Yeah.
Just like that's just something that you've always had and always experienced. Never knew what it was like beforehand.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's wild, man. World's wild.
Yeah, a little weird internet talk right here of like the infrastructure of the internet. I'm sure there's like going to be somebody that's well above our age that like has all this experience of internet.
If you know
like,
more, post a comment below.
You guys are idiots. Send.
Yo, you guys are really dumb. Yeah. Listen, dude, just tell us in the comments, dude. Correct us,
facts.
Please.
How about let's get into the first bit of the article to where we can really expose how dumb we are.
Yeah, dude. Let's talk about
article number 1. Let's go.
The day before. The day before, dude. All right, listen. So, I'm sure most, especially if you've been following the show, I'm sure you remember at one point, Fntastic, I'm just calling him Fntastic, was the dev behind The Day Before, which was one of the most wishlisted Steam games of all time. A lot of crowdfunding went behind it. And there was a lot of hype behind this game. Like, it was like an MMO kind of zombie style game. But there's a lot of hype around it. It dropped. It released, and it deteriorated pretty quickly after that. People realized that it actually wasn't even anywhere near finished game. It was kind of just like an asset flip almost, where it was kind of like, it seemed like it was put together like, in like a week, and it just wasn't fleshed out at all. And so sure enough, the Steam took it down, and the devs took it down, and they were like, yeah, like we're pretty much apologizing. We're like, yeah, refund, here we go, whatever. And so that's kind of what happened. Well, I am oddly reporting that they are back and they're trying to revive themselves. This comes from Grant Taylor Hill over at Insider Gaming. So the day before devs return with Fntastic 2.0 and a new Kickstarter campaign. I bet you didn't see this coming. In December of 2023, the day before, a long-awaited, highly anticipated survival shooter was released by Fntastic after years of development. It quickly turned out to be nothing short of a scam, with the game launching in a miserable state, after which Fntastic pulled it offline and shut down the studio. Now, almost a year since the studio disappeared, the team is back with Fntastic 2.0. Before we get started, let's highlight that this is the same developer who said, "Ish happens," on social media when their game was taken offline. So they're back, Mike. They want your money again.
Of course they do.
So, in a shocking post on social media, the Fntastic team returned, stating that everyone deserves a second chance, in quotes. They posted a link to a new game called Escape Factory and stressed that they're planning to fix their past mistakes. By past mistakes, they mean the swindling of thousands of gamers that left them with a laughingstock in the gaming community. They're back on the scene with the Kickstarter that they're putting together to generate funds to make more games, including the one I've just named. And this is not a joke. They put out a tweet. The Fntastic HQ put out a tweet on September 26th, 2024, stating, "Regaining trust will be tough, but we're motivated to make more games if our Kickstarter succeeds. With its all-or-nothing model, contributions will be refunded if we miss the target. We value your support, and all the funds will go to development, not profit."
Okay.
Do you believe on? At the time of writing, the Kickstarter has made a whopping £154 out of a goal of 11,000. That has since increased. I think now it's actually made like a decent amount. I'll get into it at the end, but there's been an update on it recently. It's like even more kind of weird. It doesn't make sense. It says if you back their campaign with a $12,000 donation, you'll get a quote unforgettable dinner with the founders of Fntastic. This is the most laughable thing I've seen in years. They're actually saying that they need the community's help if they're going to revive Fntastic, and they even published a white paper outlining their desire to change. They've rebranded by changing the color palette of their logo, and they're now preaching honesty, transparency, and professionalism. They also have a new mission. Our mission is to create games that will be loved for decades. This is brilliant. Continues. Here's the spiel for the new game, too. You play as life-weary workers trying to escape the vicious cycle of deadly factories from which there's no easy way out. Legend has it that the only one great and mysterious individual has ever escaped. Team up with 4 to 8 players for pure multiplayer co-op physics-based fun challenges. If they raise $200,000, they'll make the game and bring it on all platforms. I can't see them making 1% of that, and I agree with the person reading this article. But shall we see how far they're willing to take this? Yeah. So there's I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. There's probably if you go to their Twitter, there's like a link to their Kickstarter. It's not even worth mentioning. But I saw an update on this, and I don't know if like you're viewing it, Mike, but essentially there was a donation made of like $9,000 something, and it's by like one person, and then there's like a few other backers, but it was really weird. It's like I don't know why one person's donating that much money, and it almost seems like a scam. But
I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at then, because this is okay. I'm about to go on a huge rant. I better calm down. Okay, so I'm on the Kickstarter website right now, and I'll actually send you the link so you can open it up of what I'm looking at. Open it up for the ladies and gentlemen that are watching us. So I mean, this is an official Kickstarter website, and it's called Fntastic Game / Escape Factory, right? This looks like the correct thing, does it not?
Yeah, this looks to be correct. So,
yeah.
Let's be correct.
Yeah, and we invite you to take a look at our plan, Fntastic 2.0, where we share how we'll fix our past mistakes and are preparing to return better. Okay, cool. They've only raised $2,348.
Yeah. That's what
that is?
Yeah, and I think which is even
it's converted
funny,
from pounds.
And what's even
out
funny,
of 20 pounds.
It's even funny seeing that now, because there was a short period where there was like a $9,000 like pledge at one point, and it almost seemed like a scam or didn't seem real, and I guess there's our answer. I think it was actually
it was clearly not it's clearly not real.
So
the thing that actually like kind of trolls the hell out of me is if you start scrolling down, they have something called stretch goals, and you're going to see it in a second. It's a graphic that talks about what they're going to deliver so long as they make a certain amount of money. Yeah, there you are. So $20,000 game launch secured in Fntastic's return. $50,000 Steam Deck version. Okay, apparently it only takes $30,000 to make the game and then put it on Steam. Then another $50,000 to make a console version.
Crazy.
Specifically for PS5, by the way.
Yeah,
then another $50,000 for free DLC. Is it free if you have to do a Kickstarter?
It's a good question. That's a very psychological question.
Because why in the world would you be donating to something that you're not playing?
I mean, yeah.
Like, and then another $50,000 for a Nintendo Switch version. How difficult is it to like? I can't even comprehend this. It's got to be harder to make a game for the PS5 than it does the Switch, right?
I mean, I would think. I mean, not a developer, but I would think.
But even then, it's like, it only takes you $30,000 to make a Steam Deck version.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is PC.
Okay. Is it though?
No,
I don't know.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
You have to make, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, dude, this just goes down the realm of like BS that I see with DLCs charging too much. Like right when the game launches, it has 5 or 6 DLC packs. And they start charging people way too much money just to get the DLC when the game like should have included the DLC in the first place, and it should have actually been free. Or worse, you're dealing with like Star Citizen level. Like the game's been in alpha for 15 freaking years.
Yeah, not coming out.
Made $500 million or something crazy on Kickstarter, and the game hasn't like launched. It's like, it's ridiculous. Estimated delivery for this game? No, that's okay. Never mind. I'm looking at a hyperlink on the side. They almost got me. There's a hyperlink to like buy merch. Yeah.
No.
I don't know, man. How do you feel about this? Are you gonna donate?
Am I gonna donate this guy? Look, there's more.
You gonna donate to a game that you're not gonna play?
This is the thing. There's more details too I've learned, and apparently more like drama that's come out about it. Because I think that there was someone had posted on the forums, on like one of the forums somewhere, maybe it was on their own like Discord. It was somewhere where they pretty much had stated that like they were able to prove that the game was essentially like an asset flip of sorts. I don't know if you're familiar with like what an asset flip is, but it's essentially
it's where you buy an asset and then put it into the game, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much like like that's kind of the
predetermined, pre-designed model, and like
exactly. It's not only pre-designed like character models and like assets for the game, but it's also like they're like the multiplayer code base is like, you know, a demo like version of like an already pre-built system that they're just like shoehorning in. And it's like there's code pieces they're just adding in that are already done. So it's like they're not even technically developing anything. And they're just throwing it together and throwing it up. Like
so it's a scam.
Someone had made a post about that, and it essentially got like deleted by moderators because like there's like actually truth to it, I think. But yeah, it's pretty much like he pretty much proved that it's like, yeah, this is just a scam to try and get the money.
Wait. Is this the same game where they, like, it was an MMORPG that they created and they used all predetermined character models and they like clearly just reskinned some of the character models to make it look different or like change the like geometry or size of everything?
I think so. I mean, they said it's like a survival zombie game, but
yeah, I remember watching a YouTube video and they were showing a game similar to that because this isn't uncommon. This does happen every now and then.
Yeah.
Of like reskinning models and like animations. I keep saying like emulation or whatever animations of pre-designed like bought and paid for objects. I think, and then animating it, throwing it into the game. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
super unethical.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a ton of people that will literally like just they'll make like, you know, those like they'll make like small little games that they're essentially asset flipping and just like throwing stuff together. It's pre-made. They don't have to do anything. It takes relatively little time to make, but if they sell like 20, 30 copies, they can make a profit on it and move on. And they just keep on turning out, you know, these like, you know, boilerplate cookie cutter games. Like there's people that do that, I'm sure. But I feel like this is kind of another example of that. It's just like, well, this is yeah, it's not looking good, dude. It's not looking good, Mike.
Yeah, it just feels like a scam.
Yeah,
even the people that are in the comment section for Kickstarter are just like, please don't donate to this. This isn't good. It's not for your health. Like, yeah, it's bad.
I certainly wouldn't recommend anyone donate to it. And you know, just kind of let them die. You know what I'm saying?
Really bad idea.
It's my recommendation, but no. Nintendo always lets people. I was gonna say always lets people die, not people, but like projects.
Yeah, projects die. If Nintendo ain't making money off of it, you're gonna be cooked. So what we're gonna be talking about in this next one is from The Verge. Sean Hollister, who we've covered like countless times. I always say that. I always get his articles. I feel like this title is about. Well, I'll just read it out. So Nintendo has reportedly shut down Ryujinx. I'm struggling to say that word, so I'm going to keep repeating it like that. So Ryujinx, it is a Nintendo Switch emulator that was supposedly immune. So the main competitor to Yuzu, previously shuttered by Nintendo, is now gone too. We actually covered that too. Yuzu, yeah, basically like Nintendo hates emulators. Yeah. Hates them. They hate Dolphin.
Still
they were trying to shut down like. Oh yeah, they hate it. Like they were trying to take down. They were coming after Microsoft because there were modders finding a way to get Dolphin, which can predominantly play N64, Super Nintendo, Wii, and GameCube games on like the Xbox or on your PC.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were like, no, Microsoft, you better lock it down.
Figure it out.
Yeah. So. This is just more of the trend of who Nintendo really is. Let's go into the article from Sean Hollister at The Verge. Nintendo may have just won its battle to put the most popular Nintendo Switch emulators out of business. In March, it sued Yuzu out of existence, and now it may have convinced Yuzu's primary competitor, Ryujinx, to go away too. Ryujinx download page is now empty. Its GitHub is gone, and the Emulator X social media page and the official Discord now contains a possible explanation. Nintendo got to its lead developer and convinced them to shut down the project for good. And there's actually an excerpt of the, I guess, the original creator, the lead developer of Ryujinx, and it's a screenshot from Discord on the official Twitter page. So let's go ahead and read the first paragraph. So he says, yesterday, GDK-chan was contacted by Nintendo and offered an agreement to stop working on the project, remove the organization and all related assets he's in control of. Writes the developer and moderator Rip in Perry Perry, I think Rip in Perry Perry on Discord. And continues on by saying, while awaiting confirmation on whether he would take this agreement, the organization has been removed. So I think it's safe to say what the outcome is. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The rest of Rippin' Perry Perry's message is eulogy for the project, including a pair of videos showing the Ryujinx team's progress on iOS and Android ports of the Nintendo Switch emulator, among other core changes, ones that will now presumably never ship. Of course, it's not going to ever ship, dude.
Rip.
That is called pirating. That's what that is. That is illegal in pretty much every country. Nintendo would not confirm or deny to The Verge that it made a deal with the developer. Instead, Nintendo spokesperson Eddie Garcia mysteriously pointed them to the Entertainment Software Association's head of public affairs, Aubrey Quinn, who said she couldn't speak on behalf of Nintendo. I guess I got the runaround, is what they said, Sean. Compared to Yuzu, Ryujinx was thought to be relatively untouchable. Rumor had the lead developer, GDK Chan, was based in emulation-friendly Brazil. Though I never found proof, Sean, and every time I say I, it's Sean speaking. Though Sean never found proof of of that when reporting on the plight of the emulator world earlier this year. I'm struggling with sentences, guys. Sheesh. Oh man. Hold on real quick. I lost my train of thought. All right. There we are. Okay, certainly, we never heard about a lawsuit against Ryujinx, nor did Nintendo go after its Discord server or DMCA its GitHub, as we saw with other Switch emulators. GitHub does not currently show a DMCA takedown request for Ryujinx, by the way. A little bit of context. While emulators are technically legal in a broad sense, there's nothing preventing Nintendo from filing lawsuits that any developers cannot afford to fight. Filing DMCA takedown requests or simply putting pressure on organizations like Discord and GitHub to pull things down themselves. There are even legal theories that suggest Nintendo could win a case if it went to court, not because emulators are illegal, but because of the other copy protection mechanisms in the Switch and the argument that some of these modern emulators are trafficking in piracy. I mean, that's kind of like a legit argument, don't you think, Kyle?
I mean, yeah.
Like, if you're over here just pulling like a rip online, I mean, technically you could say, I own the game, I rip the data from the game that I now own, and now I'm using an emulator and multiple of my devices to play that game. That's the ultimate argument.
Yep.
But how many people are actually doing that?
It's like the come on emote in Discord, like side eye, like come on. How many people?
Come on, dude.
Come on. Are you actually doing that?
It's that new JD Vance like screenshot where he's like,
yeah, he's like
whatever he's doing. Side eye, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. Let's go ahead and continue a little bit further on. So, while Nintendo often leaves emulators alone, Ryujinx did recently show up Nintendo by running the just released Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom on PC smoother than it runs on the Nintendo Switch itself, where frame rate can sometimes be sloppy or choppy. So, we actually mentioned that when Echoes of Wisdom actually came out. And I think you and I both had the same thought. It was like, you can't just one up Nintendo, pre-release it too. Because it was like the game was running before the game released. Like the game was being done by Ryujinx before the official release of Echoes of Wisdom. Because you don't just go from like release to all of a sudden be on a PC immediately.
Yeah.
You know, it takes time. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that one. But to wrap up, it also seems like Nintendo may be back on the legal beat in general. This weekend, popular YouTuber Retro Game Corpse announced that Nintendo has filed enough copyright strikes just for showing Nintendo games like Zelda Wind Waker HD running on various hardware in his videos that his entire YouTube channel is at risk of deletion. I remember covering that as well, which is insane. As a result, he says he won't show Nintendo games anymore. There's a lot of people that said that that was an issue for them, like speedrunners in particular.
Yeah.
I remember seeing some articles and YouTubers basically saying like I had to go and delete some of my best speedruns because Nintendo's DMCA like copyright striking me down.
It's wild.
To the point like if it happens too many times on YouTube, they'll just demonetize you and you're ruined.
Yeah, I don't get a Nintendo, all right? Let people play your games, stream your games. Come on, man.
I
So
don't know,
wrong with that.
man. Yeah,
Get the publicity, bro.
Nintendo has to be one of my like. I don't know how you feel about it, but I always felt like Nintendo is something I beloved,
Hmm.
but at the same time I hated. Like, there's
Yeah.
a side of Nintendo like this that's just infuriating. Like their
The
esports and
dark
how they
depths.
disregard it. Like,
Yeah.
I hate it, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, I really like Mario Tennis so much, man. Like, I really like Mario Party. I like Mario
Yeah.
Kart. I like the lore of Mario. It's like it's pretty cool. Nintendo as a company, historically, it's pretty cool to like learn about. And I don't know, man. It's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah. Certainly is tough, man. Yeah, it's a weird relationship now with Nintendo. I just think like I don't know, I just think it does. I mean, so I don't know, it's a weird line. With like cuz with emulation stuff there's a line of piracy, so like I can understand it to an
For sure.
extent. But yeah, dude, just like showing off your games and stuff on like a stream or a video, it's like I don't know. I just think it's so dumb for them to be so like adamant about not wanting that. But
I think
that's
it's archaic. Yeah. I think it's archaic. Like, they're out of touch. Maybe it's a culture thing because they're like, it's predominantly a Japanese company.
no.
Japanese execs are making the decisions. Um, like, piracy's theft, that's very frowned upon in pretty much every single culture, right?
Yeah. Certainly.
And I think it's predominantly like frowned upon, especially in Japan. It's like I always feel as an outsider, I've always felt like it's way more extreme over there. It's like you're shunned for life if you steal, kind of
Yeah.
thing, because it's a very community based society. You don't steal from your neighbor,
Right,
and
yeah.
I think that goes up into the corporate world, perhaps. I don't know.
True.
I really don't
True.
know, but I think Nintendo's kind of lost the plot a little bit when it comes to YouTube stuff and then copyright striking and just people enjoying their games, especially games that like, dude, ain't nobody buying Super Nintendo games anymore or GameCube or Wii games. Why are you this upset about emulators?
Yeah.
Like, I get this. I get being upset about the Switch though. I
Mhm.
don't get like, why are you trying to stop like people playing competitively in Super Smash Bros?
Oh
Like,
god
that's
though.
yeah. Like, what are you doing here? These are games that every time they make a video, every time there's a tournament, every time people are talking about your game, that's free advertising that you don't need to market online.
Exactly, yeah.
You're selling copies. Make your games cool, man. That's like half of what PlayStation does. You know how many people that have PlayStations that will ride or die for that freaking brand?
Yeah.
They never shut up about it. That's free marketing. And now it's like, as a Nintendo fan, I'm just like, dude, I love these games, but this company just pisses me off. So I won't, like, it always comes with an asterisk when I talk about the game, you know?
Yeah. Seemingly, right?
Yeah.
It's yeah. Dude, yeah, it's see this time and time again, it doesn't look like it's gonna change, unfortunately. So
They would have to get full new leadership in order for things to change. What's the only way?
exactly, Mike.
Yeah. But we'll see how this develops. I'm pretty sure Ryujinx is done forever. I mean, if they shut down Discord, social medias, and then they make that official announcement, Nintendo's basically like, no, you don't mess with Nintendo. They keep winning lawsuits.
Take it down.
I think their record's like 1 for 100 every time.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What's the KDA?
100% hit rate.
100-0.
Yeah, easy 100-0. Everybody winning. But how about you jump into next article of Hi-Rez?
Hi-Rez
What do you got going on
Studios.
here?
For those that listen to this podcast or listened for a while, you know I have a strong affinity with a certain type of
You really do.
massive online battle arena type game that's called SMITE. Listen,
Yes, sir.
I love SMITE, dude. What can I say? I haven't
Your
played
girl
it.
Vicky Blake over here is always covering it too.
Yeah, like yeah. I mean, I don't remember the last time I played it. Honestly, it's been a while. But dude, I have such like a soft spot for that game just because it's like I have so many hours in it. It's one of the games I grinded, dude. So, but yeah, unfortunately, we got some rather sad news coming out of Hi-Rez Studios, the developer of that game and many others. Hi-Rez Studios to cut an unspecified number of jobs, a difficult but necessary change. The cuts follow internal reorganization and reprioritization, CEO says. Don't they all, Mike? Don't they all? I mean, I think they do.
They certainly do. They certainly do.
Listen, this is coming from Vicky Blake over at GamesIndustry.biz. As part of an internal reorganization and reprioritization, Hi-Rez Studios is laying off some team members across Hi-Rez. Those CEOs Stuart Chisholm. I think Stu is how I'd often see him on Twitter because he just goes by Stu. He stopped short of confirming how many people would be affected by the cuts. He did confirm that the layoffs would disproportionately impact marketing and publishing roles. Colleagues in the Evil Mojo, G&A, and Titan Forge divisions are also affected, as are developers working on cosmic skin content and system features. Stu said the difficult but necessary changes were to ensure Hi-Rez's long-term success with a specific focus of positioning SMITE 2 for a long and sustainable future, and came after a, quote, comprehensive review of our strategy and operations. This news has a real human impact at a tough time for workers in this industry. Each impacted individual is a talented and dedicated professional who have poured their heart and soul into our games, Stu said. Sounded familiar so far, Mike?
Dude.
Sound like every other announcement.
It sounds like Epic. It sounds like Microsoft. It sounds like, well, Xbox. It sounds like who we just cover, Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Destiny. Mostly Destiny, it feels like right now.
Yeah, Bungie.
Yeah.
Letting them go is a heartbreaking decision. Did you know that, Mike? Do you know it's a heartbreaking decision?
Oh, yeah. If it was that heartbreaking, you would have kept them, right?
It reflects a failure in my leadership, Stu said.
Okay,
accountability.
Okay. We like it. Okay. Personal accountability. Ooh.
And one for which I take personal accountability. These are all good people contributed positively to the company. None should view this as a personal failure. I extend my deepest thanks to them for their contributions to the company and their role in helping entertain and bring joy to millions of players. Looking ahead, the studio will, quote, concentrate its efforts entirely on SMITE 2. SMITE 2, big thing. See some gameplay of it. It's definitely Unreal Engine 5 SMITE. It kind of looks like a mobile game whenever you're fighting because there's so much crap on the screen. Like you're hitting and there's like 50 numbers and like it's the effects.
That's too much sometimes to me.
It's wild. It's pretty crazy.
Overstimulated.
Do I think SMITE 2 is going to revive SMITE? My answer is no, Mike. Unfortunately,
no, probably not.
I think it's the diehards. Sure, they'll come back for a little bit. Why not? But like, I don't know. It's not looking good. So, a little less than 30 employees were laid off as a result of Hi-Rez's restructuring back in June of 2023, so over a year ago. Earlier today, XR Games reportedly notified dozens of staff that jobs are at risk following a massive restructuring. We also reported today that Shark Mob is facing layoffs in its London studio. I saw an article about this too. They had to cancel one of their games that they had in development, and an unknown number of jobs were now at risk. Shout out Shark Mob. Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Jeez,
but yeah, that's pretty much it, Mike. Another kind of like, there's some personal accountability there from the CEO, but there's also just a lot of, the common stuff we hear when these layoffs happen. So
yeah, it's weird, man. There's been so many layoffs lately, and I kind of want to bring up, so I would assume that most people listening to us is working a job, right?
Yeah.
Like most people work, use their labor power in exchange for money. So one of the things I brought up to you, and I'll like reiterate, in terms of big layoffs with companies in the United States, at least, they have to issue a notice to the government to let people know. And I think that should sound familiar to you. It's called the WARN Act, and it's worth checking to see, because the company that you're working for, if they lay off a certain percentage of their workforce, they have to notify the government. And I don't know if it's exactly a percentage, or it might be like an if-then statement kind of thing. It's like, if you're over a certain amount of employees, then if you lay off like 100 employees, but you're a 30,000 company, you still need to notify people, even though it's like less than 5% of your workforce, right? So they have to notify the government first before they notify the employees on the layoffs, which is a very bizarre thing. But yeah, if it's public record, it has to be documented and published every single, I think it's month or quarter, the WARN Act. And I bring that up now because it's like, I've seen so many layoffs. You and I have seen so many layoffs just in the gaming industry that I'm starting to see it in like my own realm. Like on LinkedIn, I've gotten a message from a recruiter that's just like, oh yeah, I noticed that your company's doing restructuring and layoffs. Like, what are you talking about?
Whoa,
Like,
yeah, that's
yeah,
get
yeah,
away
yeah.
from me. What? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I had no updates, and then like I Google the Warn Act, I look it up, I like talk to supervisor, and they're just like, no, 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 we're not. And then what I find out is like a company named similar to mine is having layoffs, and it was on the Warn Act, but it hasn't been notified to their employees. So it's like it's kind of crazy, right? Um, but to tie back into like the video game industry, I don't know, like, what do you make of this? Because so many people keep getting laid off. Do you think it might be the companies are failing? Do you think like maybe they overhired 2 years ago during the shutdown and everything? What's your take on this, Kyle?
I mean, listen, dude, we've certainly talked about this before, but like, yeah, I mean, I think pretty much everything you listed is probably a factor, right? Overhiring of COVID, didn't understand, the full long term of what that was going to imply, and then people just getting all these jobs that the companies are realizing, oh, there's a lot of redundancies, a lot of stuff we don't need. There's a lot of people kind of doing work that isn't necessary. And like, we got new games coming out, new IPs we're working on, and we're finishing out projects. So it's like, all right, well, transition periods are kind of upon us, I think, in some areas. So it's kind of like, well, it's time to reevaluate, kind of see, who do we really need, who provides the most value, and just kind of go from there, I think.
Yeah,
That's probably,
yeah,
with something like this, SMITE 2 is on the way, so they're probably readjusting processes, and they're probably saying,
that's
okay,
true too.
before
Yeah,
this game comes out, we need to really make sure we have all we need and cut the excess fat. So I feel like that's part of what this is.
yeah, it's a very interesting scenario because I wonder if it's any similar to like a construction job. And what I mean by that is when you're in the deep mid to like late stages of a project where you're trying to close things out, you're building a building, that's usually when you have the most amount of people on the job, right? The most amount of people on the job
Yeah,
site. Once the project's done, you kind of cut your workforce all the way out until you have a remaining like maintenance kind of workforce that's in
yeah,
charge of maintaining content. I guess switching back to like gaming, it's like maintaining the content, keeping everything, keeping the lights on, you know?
yeah.
Uh it's very interesting. Something I didn't know, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say it, but it's like Hi-Rez Studios. So they're about 500 people apparently, at least in the internal physical studio, and they're based in Alpharetta.
Yep.
Alpharetta, yeah, Alpharetta, Georgia, which is basically just outside of Atlanta for anybody that doesn't know anything about the United States. Um, yeah, so their Google rating is not good, by the way. Side
Yeah,
note, like,
I haven't checked, but
yeah,
yeah,
2.3 rating out of 227 Google reviews. I'm pretty sure it got review bombed after this dropped.
yeah, probably.
Uh,
But
yeah,
yeah, I actually knew they were based out in Georgia, and if you open any of their games, they actually have like the Georgia Peach splash screen because like all the media. If there's like something that like most movies will have it if
yeah,
they film in Georgia, they have to put like the watermark somewhere that, oh, by the way,
they
this is
do.
in the
Yeah,
Peach State or whatever. And so same with
yeah,
games,
they're
like
so into it. Yeah,
same with games.
I didn't know
they're
that
like,
actually.
if I load up Smite, like you'll see a splash screen before it loads that says like something about Georgia and it shows a peach. It's kind of like, oh, made in Georgia.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Okay, see, that's news to me because I haven't ever played Smite myself. I've watched people play it, and I know how the game works.
yeah.
Um, but I had no idea that was one of the requirements.
Yeah,
That's
and
pretty cool, though.
I think it's like most media that's made in Georgia. It's like they have to, I want to say it's like a state requirement or something like that. I don't know for sure.
Weird.
But I see it in pretty much everything. I'm like, I'll look like it's mostly like if you pay attention to movies, like most people don't stay for the credits, obviously. But if you ever like if you if you get the DVD version, or whatever, you speed through them and you go to the end, you'll see a bunch of logos for like what was like the camera types that were used and all that, and like you'll see
Yeah.
Sony and whatnot. Sometimes you'll see those like. I think Alaska has one where part of it was filmed in Alaska. It's marked like with some Alaska like logo. So
See,
there's some states that are like about the like Canada. I think
That's
their own thing.
interesting. See, Alaska makes sense to me just because it's such a remote state. And it's a
Right,
very
yeah.
beautiful state, but it's like it's freaking hazardous. So they have a lot of pride. There's not a lot of people from Alaska,
Right, yeah.
right? Hawaii, I could see that being a thing because of tourist like destinations, but Georgia's kind of interesting because it's
Yeah,
that seems kind of like arrogant in a way,
it kind of does.
you know. And I say that from I'm from North Carolina. I've been trashing South Carolinians forever, and you know that.
Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. We're neighbor states, so it's kind of just like, you know, with Georgia, it's like, you know, it's like your relatives, you know, you beat each other up, love each other sometimes. It's kind of like,
yeah. I like the Carolinas because I don't think there's any real animosity between the North and South.
Yeah,
it's just mostly just like, it's like, let's pick on each other, just have fun. But by the way, screw Tennessee, screw Virginia, screw Georgia. You know what I mean? It's like they're the outsiders, you know?
Like, we're Carolinas, you know what I'm saying? We're in it together.
Yeah, we're the Carolinas, dude.
We're a partnership. Yeah.
There are things about the Carolinas that are kind of interesting. You know, there's like so many different things that are made here. It's like we have Epic Games in Raleigh.
Yeah.
We have like countless things going on. We have some of the best universities. So it's a weird culture thing. I know I'm kind of digressing a little bit, but that's why I kind of wanted to shift into like Epic Games are doing all these layoffs, and I know people that are like actually affected by that. I know when Epic Games first started Gears of War, like one of my best friend's little sister got a job there. So it's very interesting.
Out in Cary.
Out in Cary, yeah. Now they have like a massive campus and unlimited money.
Yeah,
and they're still doing layoffs.
Probably have like a salad bar and an ice cream bar, and who knows what they have in that studio.
Well, I don't think they're as bad as like
Valve,
that? Like Google,
Google or Valve or something like that. Pretty sure Valve. Well, I heard Valve had like a kombucha like thing, which seems very Seattle. So I mean, it kind of makes sense. But
it's interesting how the culture of where people are like born and raised or live and work impacts the games that they create. I think that's very interesting. I saw a whole segment, just like kind of digressing before we jump into the next article, is the culture of toxicity for what happened with Blizzard and like the terrible things that were going on there when they were Activision Blizzard, and also terrible things that are actually have happened with Ubisoft and how they're doing course correction to the point where it might have gone too far for some of the things. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's now about correcting the culture than correcting the game. It's so complicated because it's gotten so bad. It's like an HR nightmare over there. That's what I'm getting at.
Sure,
I don't think that's what Hi-Rez is dealing with, though. I think they're just they made a game and now they got to get rid of people.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I don't know if he still works. I think he still works there, but I immediately think of Scott Gandhi because he was like, he went in as like one of the
Scott Gandhi, yeah,
he was one of the head like Xbox creative directors for SMITE, and then he got shifted over to Rogue Company, and he was like the creative director of that game whenever that game started popping off. I don't know what he's doing now, but he was there for quite a few years.
So you're talking about Scott Lessier?
Yeah,
the guy that was Scott being, Scott Gandhi started as a Halo 2. Okay. Just making sure, because I was educating you earlier and you were like about like Halo guys. I feel like everybody in the gaming industry started with Halo, by the way.
It ties into Halo
seriously.
somehow. Seriously,
always. No, he is currently the game director of Hunt Showdown.
Oh, he shifted to Hunt. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So he's formerly at Rogue Company, SMITE, and SMITE Hi-Rez, and he was a former Halo champion and commentator for a very long time. He used to have a YouTube channel that I loved watching. It was so sick.
Man, same. Like he would do like vlogs and stuff. It was awesome. Dude, I used to love his stuff. But like I first found out about him. I think he was commentating COD, and that's how I like first learned about him, because he would like
that's crazy.
He would cast COD, and I was like, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was one of the OG MLG guys, man.
Yeah, dude, like I didn't realize he was into Halo until like years down the line, but yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense.
Dude.
But like, he's one of those people.
He's one of the goats.
Like, I look at him, I'm like, he seems like someone who would work at like a game developer. Like, he seems like he would work at a company like that. So it's worked out for him. So it's good to see.
Gandhi's a pretty cool dude. I don't know him personally, but I mean, like, the dude started off. He has. Let me put it this way: he has callouts in Halo 2 named after him. Like there are positions on the map midship called Gandhi, and it's alleged that he always used to stand at, he always used to play on, and it gave him an advantage. So it's like, stand up, dude. Very cool.
Dude's a legend. He's a legend.
Yeah, and I just went to his Twitter page just now while we're talking about him, and Like, I saw him, he's retweeting out what happened in Chimney Rock, North Carolina, and, like, how the floods are just
Oh yeah.
absolutely devastating, and I didn't know this. He's apparently from Knoxville, Tennessee, so
No, nice.
pretty crazy.
Local guy,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I don't
yeah.
know.
I I
Yeah,
I I didn't think he was. I had no idea.
yeah. I mean, he's
Just interesting.
he's easily probably like my favorite guy that it's ended up landing a gig at Hi-Rez, and he like actually was able to sustain and like move to different positions, and they didn't get rid of him, so he
Yeah,
survived.
yeah. Unfortunately, he's a Capitals fan, but I it is what it is.
I guess we'll let it slide on.
Yeah, I think we will. But that's a nice little rant we had going on there about
Yeah.
comedy and
Should we go
the rest
back
of everything.
to Nintendo?
We should. We should. I'm pretty excited to get into this one. It's come from CNN Travel. So CNN has this whole thing about like it's every single news network. They always have like different categories. Technology, Forbes does the same thing.
The term is vertical, Mike. Vertical. All right. They
Is that
always
what it
have
is? Vertical?
political
Okay.
verticals, the gaming vertical, the travel vertical.
Oh my gosh, dude. What am I, like
There's the term,
55 years old?
There's
dude?
the term,
That's
Mike. Get the journalism terms in
hard.
your noggin, right?
Hey,
Verticals.
dude. Hold on. Is your ad blocker blocking the image?
I guess. It
Oh,
wasn't
you
earlier.
need to.
It wasn't. Oh, there we go. There we go. Fixed it.
Okay. I was worried because
Yeah, it's like this is.
I
gotta
want a
see this.
controller like that. I want a controller like that. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, sure.
So, for those of you only listening, we'll get into what we're talking about. So, CNN Travel posted an article. This is Maggie
Haifu.
Hayufu.
Haifu. Haifu.
Hayufu?
I was gonna say waifu,
Hayufu
but
Wong.
that's it's not a waifu.
Yeah, no, it's not waifu. So, Nintendo's very first museum offers a nostalgic trip back in video game time. Let's get into it. So, this article starts off by saying, many of us of a certain age can still remember the first time we picked up a Nintendo Entertainment System controller, quickly immersing us in a colorful world of Super Mario, Zelda, and Donkey Kong. I remember it to this day, dude.
Donkey Kong.
I do. I'm a boomer. If these games played an important part in your childhood, Japan's long-awaited new Nintendo's museum is a must visit. Open to the public on October 2nd, the interactive space is set in the video game company's former factory complex in Yuji. I hope that's correct. Forgive me if I'm wrong. It's
Okay.
about an hour south of the city Kyoto.
Kyoto.
So,
Kyoto.
is it Kyoto or Kyoto?
I think it's Kyoto. That's how I.
Kyoto sounds way better. Yeah, I'll go with Kyoto. Spread across 3 main buildings, the Nintendo Museum leads visitors through the company's 135-year history with an exhaustive exhibition that includes rare consoles and prototypes, interactive games, experiences, and even a themed burger restaurant. While museum visitors won't be able to jump up and punch, in quotes, questionable blocks, like Mario, they can already do that at the Super Nintendo World theme park in nearby Osaka. Anyway, they will have access to a wealth of info that offers insights into the mind of Nintendo mastermind Shigeru Miyamoto. Shigiri? Ah, dude, I really suck at
His
names.
first name, it's Miyamoto. I know that. The last name.
I know that for a fact, yeah.
Shigeru? I don't know. Shigeru?
I think it's Shigeru, yeah. Dude, I feel so stupid.
He's the father of
Forgive
Super
me.
Mario, and I don't know this.
Yeah,
We're
it's kind of
trolling.
embarrassing. I'm throwing. I'm throwing right now. There's gonna be so many comments about how dumb I am. Also known as the father of Super Nintendo. So the Mammoth Video Game Company was first founded in 1889. A lot of people don't actually know that. As a playing cards manufacturer that produced Hanafuda, which means flower cards in English. A museum section called Craft and Play is dedicated to these humble beginnings and features a Hanafuda room where visitors learn to play the traditional card game with the help of technology and can join a workshop to create their own flower cards. But the main attraction to the museum is its discover area, which is a massive hall featuring displays of almost every product ever released by the company, including rare limited edition devices and prototypes that didn't pan out. Another highlight of the Discover building is the collection of 8 special interactive games, each representing an iconic creation in the company's game history. Meanwhile, Big Controller, and in quotes, lets players collaborate and play classic Nintendo games on, as the name suggests, oversized controllers designed to look like the originals from the consoles like Wii and Famicom. Among the mini games on offer are a laser shooting game called Zapper and Scope, a nod to the company's light gun shooting system developed in 1973, and Love Tester, which first launched in 1969. One of the things I want to stop. Did you ever see? There's a freaking documentary on the light shooting system that was developed in 1973.
For the Zapper?
Dude, it is insane.
Yeah, dude.
Basically, like, it's incredibly precise. They use CRTs, of course, and I don't remember how it was explained, but they basically use electrons to shoot from the gun to the pixels on the CRT, and it reflects back instantaneously to the console.
Yeah.
And it was insanely accurate. It was like better than Duck Hunt. It was like amazingly accurate, and this came out in like the 70s. Like,
that's crazy.
Like,
I just remember with the Nintendo, like with the actual Zapper gun. I just remember how it works on the NES. Like, obviously you need like a CRT or something like that. But like the way it works is for legit, like when you press in on the trigger, it just displays a black screen for a frame with a white square.
Yes.
And so it just looks for that white square, and if it finds it, like, and it's the laser like locates it, that's when it registers as like a kill. So it's just crazy how that works. It's like this is the 80s, and we're just like shooting a screen.
Maybe that's
like,
what I'm talking about. Yeah,
it's like it just like you don't even realize it, but for a frame, it just screen goes fully black. You see a little square, and it looks for that, and that's how it registers.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, you quite literally like never see it to the human eye, but because like it's so quick and instantaneous, the game can pick it up because like that's how it's designed.
Yeah,
it's an engineering feat that's like
the insane. Sound of the Zapper just ding 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 ding, and just it sounded so springy, and I have one buried in one of my drawers somewhere, and I'd pull it out and play the sound for everyone because the sound is just like
that's so cool. Yeah, I got a couple of things to like branch off of and talking to this. A couple more things to bring up. So the museum visitors are given 10 digital coins. I almost said tokens. Jeez. They can use to play the games, but be warned, it's not possible to buy additional ones. So players will need to strategize and choose wisely. Despite its inconspicuous gray facade, the museum is filled with playful details that are uniquely Nintendo, from the multiple Kinopio, or toads, that will sing when their heads are touched, to the lockers that resemble Game Boy cassettes. That's kind of cool.
Dude, what?
The museum's cafe, Hatina Burger, features Nintendo-themed decor, while the shop sells souvenirs such as larger-than-life controller cushions. Dude, I kind of want a giant controller cushion. That'd be kind of sick. Keychains, and a Hanafuda. Yeah, and then it just basically goes into the cost to get in. So tickets are $3,300 yen, which is 23 USD per adult, $2,200 yen, which is $15 per adult. Some parts of the exhibition charge additional entry fees. I'm sure there might be rides, because that was kind of common with Nintendo's Disney like world theme park. I think that they did. Is that in Orlando, where they did like a Mario World or something like that?
Yeah, well, it's in Japan, Super Mario World. I want to say
I thought they did something else in the US.
Was it in LA? I'm trying to remember where it is. I can't remember if it's
I don't know where like Disney World is and Disneyland.
Disney World is Florida.
One's in
Orlando.
Okay.
Disneyland's LA. So I know that.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
it's mentioned too. Very important note. Visitors have to go to the museum's website and sign up for a lucky draw of at least 3 months in advance. This means travelers can now enter to draw their tickets to visit no earlier than January, and you can select up to 3 preferred dates and times. The winners are announced 2 months in advance, and the scheduled visit dates and tickets must be purchased right away. So, quite a wait list. You have to really plan it out. But
that's very interesting.
Dude, I would want to go to this so bad. Like, this seems so sick. Just to learn the history, play games. Like, I mean, go to the gift shop, go to like a Nintendo themed like burger place and eat, dude.
Yeah,
sign me up, Mike.
Honestly, I need to go too.
We're taking the podcast there. We're doing a vlog.
Dude, I'm actually down. Like, actually down. Let's totally do that. The flight to get there is going to be expensive, but once we get there, we're fine, dude.
Yeah, dude.
We're going to be chilling.
It's so affordable. Yeah. I've been talking about
Here, let me.
One of my buddies, dude, he went to Japan, I think, last year. And, like, or it was earlier this year.
So did my buddy,
I was so jealous.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I want to go so bad.
So many of my friends have been going to Japan lately. It's kind of crazy.
I know,
One of
'cause
my
they've, like,
buddies has
opened
gone there
up,
twice.
so
Yeah, they're
yeah,
like open up and they're more accepting of like tourists.
yeah.
Not in terms of like immigration. It's paying to immigrate there if you wanted to.
No, yeah.
And the culture there, they're not very accepting of outsiders in a way. But in terms of like tourist areas, and as long as you're just respectful, it's like it's a fantastic place to
Oh,
go.
yeah. Yeah, I
Very
wanna
inviting,
visit.
very
I
friendly. The
definitely wanna
food
visit.
is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I wanna go try all the sake and go to the noodle
Dude,
shops
same.
and dude,
I want to go
so bad.
snowboarding there. I hear Japanese
Dude, yeah,
snowboarding like
that'd be
is
sick.
apparently like a very amazing experience
Yeah.
because of just the powder of snow that they get there.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the climate is
How
just
big the mountains are,
perfectly
and it's
set
like,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, it's just an overall like awesome culture. One of the things I wanted to bring up is in Atlanta. Like the last article we talked about Atlanta just briefly. Atlanta is home to Coca-Cola, and there's a
Yep.
Coca-Cola like Hall of Fame or like headquarters. Have you ever been there? I
Dude,
think it's called the Vault.
so there was a Coca-Cola factory I went to when I was really young. And that was, I think I
Okay.
went to something like that. And it was, I think it's kind of what you're talking about. It's like the history of Coke. There was also
Yeah.
like a bunch of like dispensers too, where you could try all the different sodas they have.
Every one of them. Yep.
There's
There's one
soda-
flavor you can't have though.
there's
But
one.
go ahead.
I was gonna say there's one flavor that is terrible, and my parents like my dad was like, yeah, you got to try it, and like we went with some
Yeah,
people
try it
and they
all.
were like you're not gonna like it because it's very bad. Do you know what the name of it is? I'm curious. There's like one soda
I-
it's so bad, and I remember the name.
I
of
don't
it.
know. I don't know.
Dude. It was called the
What was it?
Beverly, and dude, it is like the most bitter,
Beverly.
grossest. Like it's terrible, and like like you try and you're like, I can't believe Coke actually like manufactured this at one point. It's bad. Like it's wild.
In the States, there's well, I shouldn't just say the States, like because it's in the States for the Atlanta the Vault is what it's
Yeah.
called. Like I
Yeah.
went there for a like for like the industry that I work in, they were doing a conference in Atlanta and it was in downtown Atlanta. And then Samsung actually they rented out the entire vault, invited people to come out, and
Dang.
they had like food and drinks, like alcoholic beverages.
Okay,
And we went
okay.
upstairs and they were using ice and nitrous to create like
Dang,
an
look
ice
at-
cream,
oh, okay.
Coke, like what's it
Whoa.
called? Like a float mixed
Yeah.
with vodka or rum or tequila, whatever you wanted to do. Very, very cool. I only had like one of them because I was like, I gotta chill. I can't
Yeah,
company
can't
function.
get
We
too
can't
crazy,
be
yeah.
can't get a hand. But it's like I had so much soda. I was like tasting all the different flavors.
Yeah.
But one of the things you couldn't do, you couldn't have Mexican Coke.
Really?
And the reason why you can't have Mexican Coke is because it's actually made with sugar. Whereas here we do everything with corn syrup.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like Mexican Coke, as you probably know, if you have like the bottles, because it's the only thing
Yeah.
you can actually buy,
Yeah, then-
tastes 10 times better
Dude.
than the
Yeah.
regular one.
Real sugar?
I think
Yes.
I think that is number one. Second is McDonald's because they do something special with their Coke. They have like
It's
a
just
private
something,
propriety,
dude. Something,
They do
bro.
something.
They do something with
and
it.
then it's just regular Coke.
Yeah.
Um,
It's true. It's true.
yeah, but I bring that up, right? I bring up the Coca-Cola story because this whole museum, this whole experience, going out and seeing the history of like 100+ year old company. That's what Coca-Cola is. Coca-Cola started off as like a medical
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
liquid that
Had
you would
cocaine
use.
in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like it was crazy.
Literally did.
It was
Literally
crazy at one
doctors
point.
prescribed Coca-Cola, and I think the history and the evolution of a company to sustain the times like Coca-Cola has, like Nintendo has, is a very fascinating thing. Because I went there and I was like, I mean, it's just Coke. It can't be that good. It's kind of boring. It's just a liquid. It's like Nintendo's been around for a while. Like, why do we care? It's a playing card game. It's like, nah, dude. Like, this looks sick. This looks really cool. It looks very
Yeah.
interesting. I know Japanese culture. They have Gundam museums and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
there's very cool things that have branched out to the worldwide stream that they appreciate over there as well, and I think that's very, very cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, dude. I mean, when you think about it, there's not that many brands that have sustained that length of, time of just being around. So,
no, not at all. Yeah,
I mean, yeah. Seeing this though, seeing the giant Famicom controllers, I don't know. This is something I would easily like if I'm going to Japan, I would want to try and play in this to go
100%,
one
yeah.
of the days, So
gotta check it out. I want to see if I can get in the Nintendo tubes. You know, just, yeah.
I mean, yeah, the coin system.
I feel like a kid.
The coin system seems interesting. Being able to play games, you have a certain amount of coins.
It's kind of like an arcade.
I'd really have to plan that out though. Be like, all right, I get a limited amount. I got to make the most of it. So
it better not be like IKEA where you can only walk forward. You can't go back.
Oh, dude.
Without being like shunned, you know?
Yeah,
it's like I want to go check everything out. Like, let me walk through the full thing and then come back.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, dude. I don't know. This is cool to see, and I definitely want to go one day.
Same. Very cool. If you're in Japan, definitely check it out. Send us pictures, please.
Please. Shall we get into the last article, the final one?
Yeah. Hit us up with the last article. It's kind of a recap, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a recap, but also I think further explanation about what happened with Tango Gameworks. So,
yeah.
This is from GamesIndustry.biz. Matt Poskett, what the name? GamesIndustry.biz. He said he wrote an article that says it's about Tango Gameworks saying, quote, "We don't want to just replicate successful games." Behind Krafton's acquisition of Tango Gameworks, head of corporate development Maria Park explains the reasoning behind the company's move to acquire the former Microsoft studio and looks at the future of Hi-Fi Rush. South Korean publisher Krafton became the unlikely savior of Japanese developer Tango Gameworks in August, following Microsoft's sudden decision to shutter the studio after a few months earlier. The integration of Tango Gameworks includes the acquisition of breakout hit Hi-Fi Rush, a BAFTA-winning rhythm action game that reached 3 million players. In an industry where layoffs and closures can sometimes feel like a daily occurrence, it's rare to see a studio brought back from the dead, and even rarer to see the same employees rehired. Tango Gameworks joins Krafton at a time when the company has a dozen other studios under its belt, including PUBG Studios, Bluehole Studio, Rising Wings, Striking Distance Studios, Dream Motion, Unknown Worlds, 5 Minute Lab, Neon Giant, Krafton Montreal, Vector North, Relu Games, and Flyway Games, and more investment and seemingly on the way. Yeah, a lot of things under the Krafton banner. That's according to Krafton's head of corporate development, Maria Park, who spoke to GamesIndustry.biz a couple weeks after the announcement. PUBG helped the battle royale genre break into the mainstream. Park explains how Krafton can diversify its portfolio and are not looking to carbon copy what's out there, sharing that the last quarter alone it's met 200 to 300 studios as part of a quest to invest in new developers. The first conversation delves into how Krafton arrived at a purchase of Tango, the company's plans to expand the Japanese market, as well as the future of Hi-Fi Rush, and whether a studio of its size is sustainable in today's volatile market. The interview can be read below. Please note that it's been edited for length and clarity. Thank you for editing this, because this is...
That's what I was about to say. Thank you.
So, what led Krafton to the acquisition of Tango Gameworks? When we heard that Tango Gameworks was facing shutdown, our team immediately flew over to Tokyo. We recognize that Tango has a rich history of innovation and creativity, and the rarity of being a relatively small studio with a strong fandom. Initially, we weren't sure about whether their legacy of craftsmanship and creativity could continue, especially after the departure of founder Shiji Mikami, but our visit dispelled these worries. It was so impressive to find that they're passionately working on their projects in such a calm manner. Almost everyone was in the office, and they were showing around the projects they were working on. It was clear that their commitment to the quality of their game, that Tango wasn't just built on by one legendary developer, but was a product of the combined efforts and talents of the entire team. So the collective spirit is what we believe will carry Tango forward. I'm very pleased to say that most of these talented individuals have joined Krafton as of August. Got a lot of people back. Okay. You're looking good, Mike. Good.
Okay. Yeah. We good. We're back. We're alive.
Dude. Just to pick up on that, it's been reported that approximately 50 out of the 100 Tango employees will move over to Krafton. Is this correct? More than 50. When we started talking, there were about 90. Among them, a few had already found new jobs. There are going to be around 70 to 80 joining us. We're also going to backfill some of the positions that were immediately in need. So the studio total will probably be up to around 90 to 100 towards the end of the year and the beginning of next. Okay, it did a lot more than was originally reported, which is good.
Yeah, that's really surprising, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like bringing back that amount of people, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think it's a really good sign to just what do you say here? Is just like some people already found new jobs.
Yeah, it's like they were that good. That's like okay.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously, if you're good at your job and you have good experience, good resume, you're going to get picked up pretty quick.
Yeah, especially in the gaming industry.
Yeah, facts.
Given the closures we've seen around the industry in the past 2 years, why is it important, do you think, to salvage rescue these teams and studios where possible? Our strategic goal, especially when investing, is to foster innovation and share the larger successes. We aim to continuously innovate while supporting the broader game development community. Our key pillars are innovation, creativity, and scale up. We've been primarily focusing on finding unique and innovative gameplay. This is our number one priority. When we look at Tango, all the games they've released were unique in their own way. Their philosophy and craftsmanship have aligned with what we pursue. We had big fans of Hi-Fi Rush and other titles, and I knew they would work on Hi-Fi Rush 2 when we started talking. We thought we could carry on that legacy and offer more creative ways to keep the game updated. Also, the opportunity to take over the IP from Microsoft. It's very unusual for them to sell the IP, even in case of a studio shutdown. We spoke with Phil Spencer directly, and we have their direct support. He has been incredibly accommodating to the needs of the Tango team. So securing the rights to this IP, we should be able to continue the successful series, but also explore potential expansions and new creative directions. Lastly, we have been looking into the Japanese market quite seriously since last year. It was hard to find small and medium-sized studios who are in pursuit of their own titles. A lot of them are work for hire studios, and this is one of those rare opportunities. New IP, fresh fingers.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Bring it back.
It's cool that, they were actually in contact with Phil, and he was like, Phil Spencer was like, okay, like, yeah, I'm willing to help out where they can, even though we just, canned them, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy. So, this is Krafton's first significant investment in the Japanese video game market. Is the company hoping to expand further in the country? So this is our beginning. We're going to be cautious. They don't have to come from a AAA background. When we invest, we look for talented, passionate teams with a strong creative vision and potential to create unique gameplay experiences. There are some cases in Japan where we are in discussions in addition to Tango. We'll continue to pursue opportunities in the Japanese market for sure, but it's not like we'll be actively investing in a high number of studios over a short period. We'll be careful, and we'll also make sure to find the right partners in the region. But yes, there will be more to come for sure. Is there anything you can tell me about the terms of the acquisition? In terms of the team integration, it's not a typical acquisition case. They've already shut down the studio, so we hired back everybody. It was more like a migration to Krafton from ZeniMax. So there wasn't an upfront acquisition cost in regards to the team transfer. But when it comes to the IP acquisition, we are still in discussions with Microsoft. It's like a little gray area there, trying to get the IP and talks with, with Big Boy Phil and figuring things out.
Gotta win him over somehow.
So naturally, the next question, do you guys expect, what is the expected timeline when you are expecting the acquisition to complete? Most of the team has already been onboarded as of early August, so we're good to go. In terms of the IP acquisition, yes. Microsoft has informed us that they should be able to share the term sheet by next week. Editor's note, the interview was conducted in the last week of August, so should have happened by now. We've been talking to them at least once or twice a week, so it's in progress. Haven't heard anything publicly. I don't know if they, how public they are with that kind of stuff, but it's, it's been over a month now, so who knows. But yeah, so I don't know. They go on to talk about, is there further acquisition in the Japanese region they're looking for, and kind of stick with some of the Hi-Fi Rush related stuff. So how much did Tango's last release Hi-Fi Rush factor into the overall purchase? That's one of the big accomplishments. I think they gave us confidence because the studio is not relying on the creativity of just Shinji Mikami. New creatives are coming from younger developers, and they are very successful in delivering something so unique. We could tell that this is a studio capable of creating the full spectrum of different experiences. They have a couple of new projects in production. We looked at them, and were very different from the previous titles. So, would you like to bring Hi-Fi Rush to further platforms, such as Nintendo Switch? That's what the team really wants. I think they want to work on Hi-Fi Rush DLC 2, because they are dedicated to ensuring that Hi-Fi Rush 2 upholds high standards of quality. They don't want to rush the sequel, but take the necessary time to refine the game and come up with a different experience. Just touched on it a little bit, but as part of the acquisition announcement, Krafton said it would continue developing Hi-Fi Rush IP and explore further projects. Can you expand on this? Yes, the team was working on Hi-Fi Rush 2 when we first met them. They want to make sure it surpasses the expectations of the existing fans. For instance, some of the feedback from Hi-Fi Rush was that some people felt it was just going through factories, so now they want to give more open world type of experience. I don't think it's going to be completely open world, but a more dynamic environment that you play in. Also having more advanced technology applied to the rhythm action, so it feels more synchronized. Oh man, working on some Hi-Fi Rush 2, Mike. Something on the pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really cool to see because like Hi-Fi Rush was such a huge success that they're gonna just keep rebuilding the team. I wonder how the rebuild of the team, like how many core members of the original Hi-Fi Rush crew are remaining with the squad. Because I'm sure if you were like a really, really good content creator, like not content creator, sorry, developer, you probably got picked up. And that obviously you should if you were the main guy, like the studio head or something like that. I wonder how that's going to affect Hi-Fi Rush 2. Hopefully it doesn't get too turbulent for them and they struggle. That would really stink. But I like what this man's saying right now. I really do.
Yeah. I do too, yeah, for sure. So what about Tango's other projects? Why did Krafton feel these games, Ghostwire Tokyo, The Evil Within, helped to justify the studio's acquisition? We primarily focused on Hi-Fi Rush. It was more of a strategic decision. It would have been great to get all the IPs, but the team was working on Hi-Fi Rush 2, and the others were working on anniversary content for The Evil Within.
Yeah.
Knowing Microsoft's direction with the IP sale, we didn't want to push too far with this acquisition, so we primarily had Hi-Fi Rush under discussion because it would complicate the process and elongate the entire negotiation process. So it's not all the IPs. No, Krafton is just getting Hi-Fi Rush as of right now.
Okay.
And so Ghostwire and Evil Within are going to stay with Microsoft, according to this. So that's really interesting. But I mean, I can see why you extend out discussions, I guess. Hi-Fi Rush 2, it said earlier there was like, it's, the build they saw was like already about 6 months in. So, further along. Okay. And so it's kind of like, I could see like let's just worry about getting Hi-Fi Rush out. And then there's also new stuff they're working on too. So it's like, okay, there's going to be new IP, I'm sure. Yeah, interesting stuff, Mike. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's like they're taking not the cash cow because those other two games are really good as well. I mean, critically acclaimed, very successful games, and just to see them only take one of them is kind of peculiar, I think.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, so I was kind of skipped towards the end. So they say the final question was, what will success for Tango look like under Krafton? They responded, we expect Tango to focus on developing unique and innovative games as they've done and keep up with the creativity and craftsmanship while continuing to create games that players can be proud of and thoroughly enjoy. We're not going to be hands-on and tell them how it should be done. This team does best if they are given creative autonomy. Going forward, we are going to give them an environment where they feel motivated and can continue making something fun and unique. Let's go, Krafton. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah. It makes you feel good about this acquisition. I think it's so interesting to hear the nitty gritty about like, they're trying to get the IP for Hi-Fi Rush. They still haven't. They're not going to go for the older IPs because there's just no reason to at this point. Seemingly. So I think that stuff's kind of interesting, but it's also cool to just see like, they got they essentially got canned from Microsoft, but then picked up immediately. You don't hear that hardly ever. So, I don't know. I'm happy for them, and hopefully Hi-Fi Rush 2 is another banger, and they could just rub it in Microsoft's face. that's my hope at this rate.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some motivation because Microsoft essentially took Hi-Fi Rush and that entire studio that created Hi-Fi Rush and was like, okay, you're on the chopping block, see ya.
Yeah.
And everybody was puzzled when that happened. It's like Hi-Fi Rush was a phenomenal game. It won, did it win Game of the Year? I'm pretty sure it did, right?
I don't know, it won a BAFTA. That's what they said.
yeah, it won awards, man. So it's like you can't just go and cut them before the sequel, man. That's insane,
That's
right?
Insanity. We said it at the time. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it made no sense. And then shortly thereafter, I think it was maybe like 2 months later, we got news. It was just like Krafton's coming to get it. Yeah, we're on the way.
Hey, look, they found a new investor. So
like pretty quick, and it seems very obvious why. Unfortunately, it took too long, perhaps.
Yeah, in some cases.
Yet to be seen because like some people already found jobs, they moved on. Some people rehired. That was pretty cool. Always going to be good. And to work on the project that they've been working on. So I think Hi-Fi Rush 2 is going to be very like there's going to be some turmoil for sure, just because that's unprecedented. I think.
Yeah.
We'll see how it ends up. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the reviews. I'm looking forward to seeing some like teasers and content come out. And I think it's very cool. I'm sure they're not doing it because it's like for the benefit of them being nice guys to like rescue a studio that had success.
Yeah.
The intention is to make money, right? But at the same time, they picked a good studio, and hopefully that's proven when Hi-Fi Rush 2 releases.
Yeah, hopefully it's proven for sure, right? I think only time will tell, but I don't know. After reading this, it's like, okay, nice proven plan. It's kind of seeing how things go, but Hi-Fi Rush 2 is very much going to be a thing. I don't know. I'm excited to see it. It's one of those things when it's announced, it's going to be like, all right, here we go. Like, see if it works. Like, see if they.
It's got you like, I don't know about you, but it's got me kind of like excited to see what can happen.
For sure.
And I think everybody right now should be rooting for the success of this, because what it will show is so long as you create a good game, even if you get laid off or you get dropped by your publisher, you can still not like be rescued, because it's not really a rescue if your merit has justified it. You know, it's like you're very skillful, you create a good product, you lost your publisher, you're like going through turmoil. There will be people that will invest in you. There will be people that find you.
So good people out there that see you, right? You're gonna find your audience. You're gonna find, eyeballs. So
yeah, it's like those NFL players when they know their team's trash.
Nope.
I'm playing for tape.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all right, play for tape. Yep, exactly. That's funny. But that's pretty much what it is, dude. Make good games, good things happen. What can we say?
Yeah, exactly. Just create a good product. That's all that really matters. At the end of the day, you create a good product. People enjoy it. Unfortunately, there were a couple of circumstances we actually covered in last week's episode about people creating very good games, critically acclaimed games, but then nobody played it. There are outliers out there. So I mean, it's give and take, I guess. For sure.
For sure. But hey, let's go Tango.
Let's go Tango Works. Yeah. Gearworks.
That's all I had this week, Mike. That's all I had, dude.
I think it's a good week. I think it was a solid week.
Solid.
We had tons of options this week, man. It was actually pretty sick. And we crammed a lot of content in a lot amount of time, I think.
Sure did. Sure did.
Very, very cool. But I think what we'll start doing is like, I ain't got nothing else to add. Do you? I don't think so.
I do.
So let's just close it out. Let's go ahead and thank everybody for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on Spotify or YouTube or whatever platform you might be on, thank you very much for listening on all of the various platforms that we're on. Absolutely appreciate that. If you want to check out these articles for yourself, you can look at the timestamps below. We have tiny URL links as well as just general description of the topics. Really, I mean, I don't really know what else to say. Just check it out, subscribe, give us feedback. We appreciate you listening. Yeah. So without further ado, we'll send you out. I'm Michael Anthony. This is KyleHeath right over here. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week and continue gaming. Appreciate you.
Keep gaming, everyone. Bye.
See you.
Let's go Tango.
Let's go Tango Wars.